Okay, we're going to go ahead and look under lists and add a new chart of accounts account. So I could do that here. I could also come up to company and see chart of accounts. You see you could click on the little icon over here. So similar look and feel that we can get there to the same place multiple ways. I can go ahead and hit new here. We're selecting which type of account we want. So all the different account types are in. I'm going to go ahead and choose a cost of goods sold account, or let's just do an other income account, continue. And then down below here, I can choose to say, let me see if there is an other income in here. Oh, we don't have any, so I can't do a sub-account of. So we would want to say, let's say, reimbursement, tax reimbursement, okay. All right, and of course we have sub-account of. I can put in a description. I can put in an account number. I can say the account is inactive if I needed to and hit save. Then the account is created in the chart of accounts. Obviously we know that the other income accounts go down below here. And then if I wanted to add an additional account, so we're just going to stick with the other income theme here. And when I say continue, again, I can make it a sub-account of at this time. So we'll say sales tax reimbursement. Make it a sub-account of. I can now make a sub-account of the tax reimbursement, put an account number in there, and then hit save as well. And when I go down to the bottom of the list, sometimes it can look a little confusing because you don't see, it says tax reimbursement and sales tax reimbursement. We're not seeing the entire naming scheme. If you wanted to see the entire naming scheme, you would come into your column chooser and say, and select the full name. So now when I have full name, I can see that sales tax reimbursement : sales tax reimbursement. And then of course, when I come into my chart of accounts inside of QuickBooks and scroll down, I have my tax reimbursement there as well as my sales tax reimbursement, other income down below. So chart of accounts can be created inside of CX. If I needed to make a modification, not double click. If I needed to make a modification to this sales tax reimbursement, let's say the number was supposed to be 99911, right? Not 99111. I can go ahead and say save and close in here. Of course, the sync up takes a little bit more time as we understand, but I'm going to force the sync through. When we make changes like that, you do have to refresh the screen, right, in order to see the changes go into place. So now that I have done that, refreshed the screen. So now that I've done this, gone back into my list and chart of accounts, I can scroll down to the bottom and I see the update of the 99911. Okay. All right, so that's adding a chart of accounts account number as well as a sub-account and updating the chart of accounts. We're going to go to the next list item in here, which is our items list. So when I come into my items list, you can see I have a lot of different choices for all of my different items in here. I'm going to go ahead and select add. So we have our service items, other charge, discount, fixed asset. You can add assembly items in here, but it's not, you can add assembly items in here as well. Well, I'm just going to talk about today creating an inventory part. So when I choose inventory part, then the item name for my inventory parts, we have cherry cola gummies, reimbursable gummies, sour watermelon gummies. Let's go ahead and do peach ring gummy. You can choose to make it a sub-item of. We can put in a manufacturer's part number. We can use multiple units of measure as well as barcode scanning information. Down below here, one of the things that I can do is I can copy, right, and tab and paste in the description. I can have a cost. Say these are very expensive. I can choose my cost of goods sold account. So notice that I can add a new cost of goods sold account from this screen if I needed to, but I'm just going to go ahead and choose cost of goods sold. And then I can add a preferred vendor as well. Description, I'm going to paste that in. Sales price, we're going to go ahead and say is $4.50, quite the markup there. It is a taxable item, and then I don't know what my revenue, product revenue. Okay. Now down below here, inventory information, as you're used to, we choose the asset account that we're going to be working with, and so I can start typing inventory to find my inventory asset account. Reorder point if we wanted to have one, as well as a max. We can add an image in here, right? You want to save first before adding image, and then we also have custom fields that we have set up at the item level. So now that I have created that item, a couple things, if I didn't know, right, so it gets thrown in the list, I can just start typing peach over here on the side. It will pull up my peach ring gummy. I can open that up, scroll down, and add an image. So when I choose to add, I can browse through a file, or I can drag and drop an image over. So you can see it added that image right in there, and then I can go ahead and hit save. So that image is stored here inside of CX. It's not stored local in the QuickBooks database, but visually, right, now I have a picture of my cherry cola gummies as well as my peach ring gummies too. One piece also I want to make sure is once you have created the peach ring gummy, you can see it comes down here. I've got all of the things, manufacturer's part number set up appropriately. Categories is not part of the sync for QuickBooks because it's not part of the API, so we actually don't have access to that, so you'd have to do the modification of category in QuickBooks. You see the cost is here, the cost of goods sold account that we chose, the product count, tax code, reorder point, all of that information got moved across as well. Pretty straightforward. Let's pause and do organization of chart of accounts. So chart of accounts in here, you can go in and filter, right? And I can start typing. So if I wanted to see all cost of goods sold, I can tab, select, tab, select, use space to select here. I'm looking at all the cost of goods sold accounts, and then I can clear all filters to reset it. I also have the ability to, sort if I click on the column by name. I can sort by balance if I wanted to. I can filter, right, for anything, any of the different balances in here. Any of the different numbers in the system, I can filter by that. If I wanted to organize things a little bit differently, I can do something like sort by type, and then it shows me all the different types, and then I can expand to see what falls under that type. And again, I just did that by dragging and dropping the column up above there. It's not very effective, right, really, in the chart of accounts, but you'll see this consistently throughout. For column choosers, I have the little gear here where I can hit the column chooser button. I can choose to say if it's inactive or not. I can add the bank account number. I can add the parent account separate if you wanted to. So if you didn't want full name because it looks weird, you can also just add the parent account over here, so tax reimbursement if it is a sub-account. So they have that ability. I can filter for active only, right, inactive, any with a negative balance, any with a positive balance, or show all accounts. And then we also have back here under gear the reset grid layout. So this is basically saying go back to the way it was when we first started using this. And so you have that reset grid layout. If I hit refresh, then it's going to go back for me. I know it looks weird because I don't have a bank account set up, but it's going to go back for me into the way that QuickBooks organizes things, which is by balance sheet first and then profit and loss order, and then our non-posting at the bottom. So if you go to the reset grid layout, or if you just refresh in the chart of accounts, it won't maintain the list order that you had before. All right, let's go ahead in and look at creating a new customer as well as a new job, which we'll do in 2 separate videos. When I come into my customer center, I can create a customer from here. Of course, I could have done it from the home screen as well, but create a customer. I pop up my screen here, and let's go ahead and do TPC Golf Shop, and we're going to tab and copy the name across. I did put a space at the end, and I don't really want that. So then we have our first name is going to be Phil Woods, combine the two. Phone number, oops, and we can alternate, but I'm just going to do an email at golftest.com. And then I can hit the space bar in here, right, to start putting in the address, so you don't have to clicky as much. Golf, or what do they call that? Links Drive, San Antonio, Texas, 7, I don't know. All right, and I can hit OK. I can continue to put tab and push the space bar to select. We can make the customer inactive from here. Payment settings, I can put in an account number if we do that. I don't know if people use that very much. I can put in my payment terms, preferred delivery method, right? If we have a credit limit, I can also choose a price level on this customer. If they have a particular sales tax code, I can add that in there. And then any additional information like customer type, if we have that, this is a retail customer, who their sales rep is, maybe who their project manager, buyer, territory, maybe their revenues, 1 to 5 million, and I can go ahead and hit save. So now TPC Golf Shop, notice that it connects right on in there, right? It shows it. If you don't want to show that, you can go down and hit that X to stop the search. If I need to get back, I just hit TPC in there and it'll get me back in. Now from here, I can go ahead and create a job from TPC. Again, we can say the course 1 store, and it carries everything across. If I need to make any modifications, I could. The additional information is here as well. Job information tab gets added, and I can add in job information if I needed to. So like, let's just say, residential job and status of pending. Okay, and say save. So I've now created the two. So if I type in TPC, I'm going to see both the customer as well as the job have been created. Now when I go down into QuickBooks and I go to my Customer Center, and here I've got my TPC Golf Shop as well as the Course 1 store. When I go ahead and open those up, you can see the information has come across. The ship to information did not come across because of my mistake, which was that I did not add a name for the ship to, right? So the default is blank. And now when I save the default, right, it will update in the customer card what the default address is. So that'll take a second to link in. The other thing that we want to note, right, payment information, price level A, what the account number is. That account number does carry forward into the job if we need to change that, what the revenues are, customer type, and then I have my job information that carried across. So now you can see when I double click to edit the TPC, my default address is in here. You do have to have, if you want the address to stick, right, you have to add the ship to address in there. That is creating a customer and job in CX. If I needed to make a modification, so let's say instead of calling it Course 1 store, or let's say we didn't have an account number, this is A-A or something along those lines, or the job information moved to awarded, we can make that modification. Again, the sync up is a little bit slower, so I'm going to force through the sync. When I come back into my Customer Center here, you have to refresh it in order for it to show, so it's similar to some of the other things. So if in QuickBooks, like some of the invoice tracker or something like that, so if I come in here to the customer screen and then I type in TPC and I look at, now I forget what I edited. Oh, I edited Course 1, okay. And I come in here to not the job, or not the account, but the job instead, and I double click to edit. then you can see in here the job information has changed to awarded, and let's see, the payment information to -A, so everything came across just fine. Modifications in QuickBooks. Now we do, of course, teach people you should be going one direction, right? So if you are, I mean, it's not that you can't create customers inside of QuickBooks Desktop first, right? And definitely not customers. But if you're creating sales orders, the best practice is create sales orders in one place most often. Editing them, that's fine. But the create portion of it, the point of entry should be similar. It is not best practice to have several points of entry, meaning you sometimes do it here in QuickBooks Desktop and sometimes you do it in CX. You want to kind of get in the habit of having a single point of entry. All right. So now that I have the Course 1 store in here, I'm going to go ahead and create an estimate down below. So when I create an estimate, notice again, it starts off where the TPC Golf store is. I have my accounts receivable account. I can choose a class if I wanted to. I can choose a different template if I needed to. I have a custom template set up here as my standard. When I come down below to my items, I'm going to go ahead and sell. It shows me my coin on hand right away, right? By the way, but so I need to work on my inventory here. So I'm going to sell them some cherry colas. When I choose my drop down here, I can say my warehouse. If I wanted to preferably ship it out of a certain warehouse, we're going to send them 87. And there is going to be a 150% markup. The tax is going to be non-taxable, and then of course we're not going to have a lot serial number. So I'm going to go ahead and save this estimate